Yes, I have new glasses. I don't like them yet. And yeah, I have a treatment in my hair, so yeah, that's why I look like this, but who cares how I look. Yes, Australia is not cheap, so a lot of times we just bought what was about to expire soon, was on quick sale, so it was cheaper. I read that Australians by far eat chicken the most from the meats. This is Pichai. So anyways, and yes, we could actually really observe that at the stores. Chicken was very rarely on quick sale, so it was very rarely to expire soon because they buy it so much, and sometimes there wasn't even any chicken left, or like some of, you know, maybe they weren't whole chickens or not the thighs, or not everything was gone. I fucking hate this. Do you hear the obnoxious bird, I call it? So yeah, sometimes almost all the chicken was basically gone from the shelves, but there was still lots of delicious lamb, pork and beef around, and even on quick sale. Paul said Australians are, like most people, brainwashed. They don't buy fatty and red meat because it's bad for you. Newsflash, a fatty lamb chop or a beef steak is much more healthy than meat pies, Tim Tams or chicken parmigiana. But then, right before we left Australia, we met Melinda, one of the daughters from our host, and she told us the real reason why Australians eat so much more chicken, because it's cheaper. So it's the same like in the Philippines. Rhea there, Rhea, I forgot how to pronounce her name, I'm sorry. She told us, oh, Filipinos, they love beef, they love pork, but mostly it's chicken, always chicken, sometimes pork, but very rarely beef, because it's so much cheaper. Melinda also told us that during the 90s, lamb was much cheaper than chicken in Australia. Can you imagine that? So they used to eat lamb all the time, her kids, the families, so much more lamb. They ate lamb and lamb, but then it changed, and chicken got so much more affordable than lamb, so much more cheaper. So then they switched. Then they started just eating mostly chicken. So yeah, it's the price. It's because of that. So more about Australian lamb here in the video Traditional Foods in Australia. Something I just don't understand, and I keep repeating myself in those videos, I know, but I have to point it out again. Why fish fillets, fish pieces, fish steaks, especially already pre-packaged, are not descaled? Why? I don't understand. Yes, I get it. When a whole fish is on display, it still has the scales on because it's so much more pretty. It's shiny. But then you decide which fish you want and they descale it for you. But and a lot of times, yes, the fish. So we bought Tasmanian salmon, and the skin was actually on the bottom of the package. You couldn't even see the skin. And it wasn't descaled. It's so much fucking harder to descale a piece of fish, a fillet or a steak or a piece, whatever, than the entire fish. It's I fucking hate it, and I don't understand. I don't understand why. So I was thinking, okay, maybe the fish stays longer fresh when it still has the scales on, you know? But no, it's actually the opposite, because dirt can trap underneath the scales, so it doesn't stay fresh as long. So it's actually the opposite. It would be even better to descale the fish. And I'm so glad that fucking bird stopped, because it's like, it always gets louder, you know? It's like, so it's like, yeah, I'm in the jungle here in Mae Rin, Thailand. I'm totally fine with those birds and stuff, but not when I'm filming. So back to Australia and carnivorous foods there. And so it's not just that dirt gets trapped underneath the scales of a non-descaled fish or fish piece, also bacteria. That's what I wanted to add here. And more about Tasmanian salmon also in a video that I already mentioned, Traditional Foods in Australia. And of course there I will also talk about kangaroo meat. Eggs weren't cheap either, and there were no flats of eggs. The biggest carton we could find contained 18 eggs. A flat would contain 30 eggs. But we still bought the 10 egg carton because they were cheaper. So except for when the 18 egg carton was on sale. But those we could only, the 18 egg cartons, those we could only get in Newcastle. The only Coles there was in Tea Gardens, not a really big one, a good size one, but not a huge one. They only had eggs in 10 egg cartons. So the 18 egg cartons they didn't have in that Coles. Oh, okay, I have to tell you this. So once Paul was there and saw eggs on sale, and you know how I am about sales. Love it. So there was an Asian guy there, super stressed out. And he already had an entire case full of those egg cartons in his cart. So like a case full of those egg cartons. There was another case and 2 single egg cartons left. Paul picked up one of the single cartons to inspect it, and as soon as Paul picked that one up, the Asian guy came over and took all the rest of the eggs that were on sale, everything. And Paul just was there and tried to inspect the eggs, like figure it out, oh, what is this sale about? So yeah, I wasn't there, he told me all that when he got home. So he told me what he paid for that egg carton that was on sale, and I did the math, and it came to about 30 Australian cents per egg. What is crazy fucking cheap for Australia and eggs. Like insane. So sad he wasn't able to get more, but I'm so happy I at least got that one carton. Shit, if I would have been there, I would have gone crazy too, like the Asian guy. Such a crazy deal. Oh my god, I would have taken a carton too. I remember back in Reno, Nevada, the United States, where we were living before. So when there were crazy deals, there was usually like a limit 2 per person sticker there or something. So you weren't allowed to buy more than 2. And I actually think that's a good thing because so it's more fair and other people can profit from that crazy deal as well, and not just one guy buys everything. Paul actually saw at Coles many times eggs on sale. You see the sticker, but they were always already gone, all of them. Oh, to be clear here, about that Asian guy, I would be the same. A crazy deal on seafood, meat, or eggs, I'll take everything mine. I would be like the Asian guy. Yes, I would freak out, I go crazy, I'll take everything. No, actually not. Actually, it depends, and I know that because it happened before. So I know that's what I would do because I did it before. So if there is a crazy deal and there's like really a lot, I'll take a lot for me, but I'll leave some because I feel like, hey, then others have something too. So I am like that. I've done that before. I know that. But if there's a crazy deal and then there's not much around, I'll take everything. Everything is mine. Mine. Yep, that's how I am. We had a grill in Australia. There is one. That's not on purpose. I set it up like this. But yeah, we had a nice grill in Australia, but unfortunately a gas grill. So actually this one here is 100,000 times better because I love wood. I love charcoal. Just gas is, I love gas stove. But for grill, a gas grill, nah. But hey, at least we had a grill. That's still cool. And I even let Paul barbecue actually quite often for both of us. And you probably think now, oh, no big deal. Well, who cares? What's that about? Nothing special about that. But actually, for me, it is. For me, it's actually a really big deal. So yeah, I actually asked him to grill stuff for us, to prepare meat for us. And so I guess for most people, again, that's not a big deal. It's just like, oh, I'm too tired, I'm too lazy, I don't feel like cooking. Oh, can you do something? Can you prepare something? For me, that's not the case. That's not who I am. I have to control everything. I want to control everything, especially with food, especially with my food, meat. I don't really let anyone else cook food for me. Yes, I do go to restaurants very rarely because I can make it better for myself because I know how I like it. Or like, yeah, it's really rare that I go to restaurants. So I don't like giving up control, as mentioned. So for me, that was actually a big deal. But already before we arrived to Australia, I told Paul, hey, I don't want to always focus on food so much. In Australia, I want to focus much more on bodyboarding. I want to go bodyboard a lot and work on my videos and just, yeah, not always have the food so in focus. I also told myself I don't want to film that many recipes in Australia, but I still filmed quite a lot of recipes. Yeah, I just can't help it. It's a passion of mine. I'm obsessed with food. Yeah, still, I'm a carnivore now. I have it under great control, but I'm obsessed with food. I will always be. So, but then I actually really enjoyed it to let Paul prepare the food, the meat. But of course, just meat, I was pretty sure he couldn't mess up, or if he would, it wouldn't be that bad. And actually, I want to do that more in the future, that I just not plan every day what I'm gonna cook, what I'm gonna eat, or just have others like barbecue something. And yeah, I really want to work on that to give up more control. Wow, the ground pork tasted so good. So I've been eating pork again since Serbia. So here is a video about carnivore in Serbia. So for, I think it was the first 5 years on carnivore, I didn't eat pork. Well, in the first month I did. So anyways, I've been eating pork in many countries now, I think except Indonesia, because it's really, really fucking hard to find pork in Indonesia. In Batam, Indonesia, we couldn't find any pork. Well, it's a very, very Muslim culture there, religion, however you call it, sorry. Anyways, in a lot of Asian countries, like Southeast Asian countries, pork tastes so much better than beef. It's because they don't age the beef, so the beef is really tough. Well, yeah, of course, almost everywhere you can find imported beef that is really good, but also really expensive. So pork is so much cheaper and tastes so much better than the local beef. So very affordable, good choice in Asian countries. But the ground pork in Australia, wow, it was Australian pork that we bought, and Paul told me it tastes so much better because they grain-fed the pigs. Funny, I could totally taste a difference in the ground pork, but not in any of the other pork cuts, not in the chops or the ribs or whatever. They tasted just like normal pork, good normal pork, but like the same in Thailand, I wanted to say Indonesia, but I didn't get pork there, in Malaysia or somewhere else. But the ground pork was very different. So it didn't just taste different, also the texture was different. It was much more grainy. Funny, the second time I ate that ground pork, I didn't think it was that good anymore. I think the same happened with me in Australia, what happened to me with ground beef in Penang, Malaysia. Here is the video about carnivore in Malaysia. I think it tasted so deliciously because it was so different. I've never had ground pork before that tasted so differently, so that's why it was so amazing. As a carnivore, I don't always get much variety, so if I get something pretty normal like pork, ground pork, that tastes completely different, it's like wow to me, it's like a change, it's like so awesome, it's so cool. But actually, I liked the other pork I had so far in Southeast Asia and in Europe much better than that ground pork I had in Australia. It was a nice change, it was great, but if I would have to have this ground pork all the time, every day, I would get really sick of it. So I actually prefer that regular, normal tasting ground pork. Oh, I know that ribeyes in Australia are called Scotch fillets. I'm talking about beef, yes. But what are pork Scotch fillets? A pork ribeye? I mean, that would make sense, but it looked much more like neck. Yes, I looked it up. It's the neck. A completely different cut. So I get it. We're in a different country, and even they speak the same language. I'm talking about Australia, I'm speaking about English. They have other terms. I get that. That's okay. I'm okay that the beef ribeye is called Scotch fillet. I'm okay with that. But then you call the neck from the pork Scotch fillet, and the ribeye is from the ribs ribeye from there, and it's from a completely different cut. So please then you would call the chops, the pork rib chops, those are the Scotch fillets. Actually, those are the pork ribeyes. So rib chop, that makes sense. It's from the rib. You don't have to call it ribeye the beef. It's a ribeye, pork, it's a rib chop. That's okay. But to use the same word for a completely different part in the body is fucking stupid. I hate that. That's just It doesn't make sense, and it's like very confusing. You know, one Scotch fillet is here and one is here. Well, I'm not animal, but yeah, I also have a neck, I also have ribs, yeah. So it's fucking weird. Oh, I also saw pork belly pieces labeled as pork spare ribs. What is super weird? It doesn't even make sense. So again, the belly is here. The ribs are, well, I want to say Australians, but it could also be British, right? I mean, I think Scotch fillet is British. I don't know. Don't hold me to it, because I know, well, the Brits settled into Australia, so also the language is Australian language, but a lot comes from the British English and stuff. But then it also changed to their own customs and own language. So I don't know whose fault it is. It's just fucking stupid. Also, there was still some sour cream left in the fridge when we arrived. Wow, it looked so thick. It reminded me of crème fraîche from Switzerland. Well, actually from France, but they also have it in Switzerland. I'm Swiss, so I remember it from Switzerland, crème fraîche. And we call it the same. It's called crème fraîche. So anyways, yes, because Australian sour cream was basically the same fat content like crème fraîche. So it's the same. Online, it says Australian sour cream contains 35 to 38% fat, and crème fraîche contains 30 to 45% fat. Clearly more than the 20% fat in the regular American sour cream. Oh, and I'm talking just about non-light products, just normal, regular products. Paul loved it and he bought more. And I, of course, didn't mind it at all. Hey, it's 100% carnivore. Just unfortunately, it's pasteurized. Raw dairy is not allowed in Australia, and it's from cow's milk, so it wasn't anything for me, so I didn't even taste it. Because I only consume raw goat's or raw sheep's milk. Oh, sooner or later, I'm gonna consume cow's milk again. And only raw, of course. I'm a strong believer that pasteurized milk is dead milk. So there's no benefits in consuming it. Just getting more calories that I'd rather get from something else, like a fatty steak or something that gives me also benefits. Okay, you can make kefir or yogurt out of pasteurized milk. So you get some good bacteria back in there and you have better benefits. But now imagine raw milk in kefir or Philly yogurt or whatever yogurt. Oh, superfood! Even double the good bacteria and stuff. Pasteurized milk is just bullshit. It's my opinion. So here I get to raw milk, and as already mentioned, unfortunately, Australia is another country where raw milk and even raw dairy like raw milk cheese is illegal. So sad. But I read you can buy it as bath milk, so or for pets, of course, so from a pet store. So you can get raw milk as bath milk, it's called bath milk, or from a pet store. And I actually found it online, but I decided not to order it. At that time I didn't know exactly where we would be after Australia, but I knew very soon we would come back to Mae Rim, Thailand, where I am right now, and we were here already last year, and I found great raw goat's milk, delicious raw goat's milk here, quite expensive, and they just upped the price. Actually, no, it's still the same price, but instead of 900 grams, you get 800 grams now. Fucking assholes. Anyways, so I knew we would come back here for 3 months, so I have a lot of raw goat's milk here now, so I didn't need it for those 3 months in Australia. I love raw goat's or sheep's milk. I absolutely love it, but it's also totally fine for me to be without it for 3, 4, 5, 6 months if I would live somewhere. I told that Paul many times, if we decide to settle down somewhere, I need to be able to get raw goat's milk. Yes, even if it's, well, we used to live in Reno, Nevada. It's illegal there, but it's legal in California, it's right next to it, or in Utah. Or I have my own source, a farm where I could get it. Well, they delivered it even. So yeah, if I settle down somewhere, if I live somewhere for a longer time, permanently, or however you want to call that, I want access to raw milk. But traveling around like this, I'm totally fine if I don't get it for a while. I miss it, but it's totally okay. So we were staying in Tea Gardens, Australia from October 30th, 2025 until January 28th, 2026. Where we were living there was, as mentioned, a good size Coles, I would say, and also a butcher. It's like 2 to 5 minutes walking distance. Awesome! I was so excited to buy liquid egg whites and the Thai clean fish sauce from Squid brand at Coles. Because yes, I already looked it up months earlier before we were in Australia online that Coles has those two items. So I was super excited to get them. But as mentioned, the Coles we had in Tea Gardens wasn't very big. Actually, our host called it a big Coles. It's definitely not a big one. There are much bigger ones, but it was also not it was a good size one, yeah. But not big enough to carry egg whites and the Thai fish sauce from Squid brand. The golden one, they had the green one, and the green one that contains sugar. So no, I need the golden one. But I totally get it. I mean, Tea Gardens, no one eats that stuff, so they don't carry it. So I totally get it. Also no kangaroo meat, because no one in Tea Gardens eats that. So I was super happy that when we went to Newcastle to pick up my DHEA, it's prescription in Australia, so when we went there to pick that up, we also went to a big Coles and a Woolworths. So I found it there. We went to Woolworths first because we don't have one in Tea Gardens, and I've never been in one before. Yeah, they had the egg whites. 9 Australian dollars, not cheap for a package. $5 90 cents. I'd say by now it's probably the same price like in the States. Yeah, I know egg whites don't have many nutrients, and why would you just eat the egg whites? Just eat the whole egg, or there are lots of people that only eat the egg yolk because it has so much more nutrients. But I absolutely love my egg semolina, and it's just so much easier to make egg semolina with the egg whites in the Tetra Pak, because if you have to separate like 20 egg whites, it's like, yeah, it's just, of course it's possible, but it's a bitch. And of course, here is the recipe for my egg semolina from my other channel, Creative Carnivore Kitchen. I actually just made a short, but I don't think that one will be out yet, so I probably just put in the longer video. Who cares? Here is one of the egg semolina recipes, and I just love it so much because, yeah, it's just egg whites, so I can actually mix it with fatty food, and it's so versatile. You can do so many great things about it. But I should stop talking about my egg semolina, otherwise I'm just going to talk about that for an hour for the entire rest of the video. I should make a video just about egg semolina and how great it is. No, I probably won't. So yeah, anyways, but I don't get egg whites everywhere, of course, in our nomadic life. So I was so happy when I found it because I didn't have it for a while, and it felt so good to eat egg semolina again. I loved it so much. Back to Woolworths. There I also found the golden fish sauce from Squid brand, from Thailand, from here. Here I found it the first time. So 4 Australian dollars 50, 2 American dollars 95. So far, I found it in Mae Rim, Thailand, here, for $1 77, in Batam, Indonesia, for $2 36, and in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, I don't remember, I didn't write it down unfortunately, but I think it was actually cheaper than here in Thailand, where it's from. Yeah, I remember because I was like super surprised. But so anyways, I wasn't surprised, of course, that it's the most expensive in Australia so far. Totally okay, but what frustrated me so much was that right after Woolworths, we went to Coles, and there it was on sale and it was cheaper. And I even told Paul when we were at Woolworths, oh, should I really buy it here, or should I wait until we get to Coles and check if they have it there and how much it costs there? So at Coles, it was on sale for 3 Australian dollars 55. At Woolworths, it was 4 Australian dollars 50. Yeah, so who cares? Not a big deal. But I just love good deals. I love it when something is on sale. So it really fucking bothered me for a while that I didn't wait and check Coles first. But I was so happy I found it at Woolworths. I was like, oh, I should rather buy it now. Maybe Coles doesn't even have it. Even though I looked it up online and I knew big Coles should have it. But you never know. So yeah, I would love if these would all be my problems. Like missing a deal. Like pay a little bit more for fish sauce or the eggs. We only got 1 carton. Oh my gosh. I wish these would be all my problems. Life would be so awesome. My life is already awesome, even with serious problems. Yeah, but so about good deals, we got deals on lamb, beef, and chicken. We found some good stuff on quick sale. I always love that. Oh my gosh. And we also got some kangaroo. But again, more about kangaroo meat in that video, traditional foods in Australia that I already mentioned. We went back a second time to Newcastle and had even more luck with quick sales. Again, both in at Woolworths and at Coles. Second and last time we were in Newcastle, and yeah, we bought a lot of stuff. But look at all this. Quick sale, quick sale, quick sale, quick sale. That's how I love to shop. This is not quick sale, but we need that for Christmas. That's gonna be our Christmas lamp. This is also not quick sale. The rest, really so cool. Those were on sale too. Really cool. We had to get new ones of those. And here, of course, stuff for Paul. Salt, I think $1.89 or something for a kilo of salt. We got 2. And coconut water for me to make kefir. Hell yeah. Water. Yes, the tap water is totally drinkable in Australia. But no, you shouldn't drink it. Too much fluoride in it. Luckily, the hosts have a Brita filter. So more about the water in a future video about Australia, because there's much more to that. Ooh, and our hosts also have one of those soda makers. We love soda water, and it's so nice not having to carry all those soda water bottles at home. So here is that video, Trusted House Sitters in Tea Gardens, Australia, where I talk more about that soda water making machine. Salt, no problem getting natural rock salt in Australia. So we bought some, actually a lot. I left a whole kilo there. I bought way too much. And I even extracted the salt from the ocean and consumed that as well. And I also took it with me when we left Australia, so I still have salt. I can't add any more links, but the short, extract your own sea salt, is on this channel somewhere. So yeah, I extracted my own salt from the ocean. It was so cool, but I didn't really eat much of it in Australia because I already got that taste too many times in my mouth when I was bodyboarding. But now it's like amazing, it's great, and it really, yeah, of course, it tastes like the ocean there. It's awesome. Here, I have to say how grateful I am for being carnivore and that I am stable. For example, the dogs we were taking care of in Tea Gardens, Australia, their breakfast was oatmeal with fruits, blueberries mainly. I used to love oatmeal and blueberries, and that mixed together, oh my gosh. I would have eaten everything away from the dogs. Oh my gosh, I love that. Now, then, I didn't care. I could watch them eat that, no problem at all. Also, in other places we stayed at, I was so grateful for being carnivore. I used to be so crazy sugar addicted, and with sugar, I mean all the sugars, so carbs, starches, everything. So anyways, I used to be so addicted, I was binge eating like crazy, eating in secret and almost constantly just thinking about food. I couldn't think about anything else than food. Yeah, I mentioned it, I'm still obsessed with food, I will always be, but I can do other things. I can also not think about food and concentrate on other things. But so for example, in the Philippines and in Malaysia, we were staying in places that were full of foods, sweets, carbs, snacks, vegetables, nuts, fruit. 3 years ago, I couldn't have handled it. And now I can very, very proudly say I didn't eat anything, nothing. I came so far. I'm so proud of myself. Since my hormones are much better regulated now, I can do that. I have no problems at all. It's not even hard to stay away from these foods. I'm totally healed. It feels amazing. Stay happy, stay healthy, stay proud.